What's up, everybody? Welcome to GoatBroz, your go-to place for nonsensical chatter about Iron Man. I am Chiba Chuck.
And I'm DJ Chiba 1.
And today, we're going to continue DJ Chiba 1's, travels through the cinematic, the great journey through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We checked out Iron Man.
Yep.
The granddaddy of them all.
Is that what you guys call it?
Nah, that's
is that your granddaddy?
Yeah, that's grandpa.
Yeah, our granddaddy is Suicide Squad.
Yay!
Nah, that has to be the one that started it all, right? For the
this
more,
is
for just how comic book movies are nowadays, right? That whole we start from here and we want to build this universe. It started with Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man was.
We forget about the Incredible Hulk, but Iron Man's the real one.
The Incredible Hulk is like the stepchild, like the step granddaddy. No, I think with the Incredible Hulk, it was just, hey, here's another superhero movie. Here they had a plan, and this was the guy. What did you think about the movie as a movie?
I thought it was a really, it's cliche. I thought it was a great movie. I thought overall the pacing, there was not a moment where I'm like, oh, there's no cancel bait scene. Like 20 minutes of just cut this off. I thought everything was meaningful. I thought everything had its purpose. It didn't waste no time in telling you the story, and it told you it told it very concise. Just story without
A lot of people struggle with the first part of the movie and then the second part of the movie. The cave scene, right?
The first act, the second act, and the third act are all
sorry. The first part of the movie where he's in the cave and they're like, it's slow, it's weird, like it's like that. But I think that's important for the movie.
I think that's the most important part of the movie for Tony Stark's characterization. I haven't seen the rest of the movies, but I think towards the whole entire Marvel universe, you see him as what I thought he was for the entire MCU. I'm like, oh, he's this over-the-top playboy. He makes jokes all the time. He's a fucking asshole.
Right.
I thought that was him the whole way. But no, like, Tony Stark has heart, and he is a person. And when he realizes, through being kidnapped, and essentially it's like a coup.
Yeah.
From his guy, Abedea.
Yeah, Abedea.
It's trying to take him out, right? And Abedea! What's up with that name?
I know, right? I just finished.
What's Jeff Bridges' name? Is it Bob? No, it's this weird.
Abedea.
That's fucking.
Well, it's funny because we just finished playing Red Dead, so Abedea is a name we would hear often.
I know. It was just. But ultimately, he gets serious, and what I like about that sequence or that first act is the fact that he doesn't waver from that seriousness. He's like, nah, this is no time to tell jokes. I'm fucking gonna die here. So he's very serious, and there's, a compassionate scene with him and the doctor. What's his name? Yemen?
Yeah.
Or something like that. And I thought that worked to perfection. It hooked you, and it hooked me. So it did its job for me, being a first act, right?
Right.
It needs to hook you. It needs to put in place the plot that's gonna continue on, which is Tony Stark doing a 360 on his, weapons of mass destruction company, basically, right?
Pretty much.
And it just changes his personality and not his personality, but his character and his motives ultimately. So I thought I did a really good job in that first act.
Now, when he gets out, which he should have survived.
Oh, by the way, that's fucking badass how he got out. That first Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
It's fucking badass.
It is.
Flamethrowers everybody.
He still should have survived that crash landing.
No, but
it's a movie. It's fine.
It's a comic book movie.
But it was funny to me because we see it and we're like, "There's no way."
Yeah.
Sand is. If you've ever fallen in sand,
it's coarse and it gets everywhere. So maybe that was
a problem.
Yeah.
Once he starts actually building the Iron Man suit,
the first one.
No. Like once we get out of the cave, he's back. Eating his burgers and shit.
That was a fucking badass scene. Where he just eats his burger and he's like, fuck it, we're not gonna make weapons no more. I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have done it with a better burger than a Whopper, but okay.
Now, I know, right? He starts building the Mach 2.
Right.
Was that a good part for you? That whole process of him building it, testing it.
Yeah, I think it shows.
Rhodey not wanting to be part of it.
Right. I think it shows. It makes him more personable. Or more personal to us, the audience, and the character, because it's usually like, oh, this was made by this company or this, like in The Incredibles where that lady, the short lady, makes the suits. But right here you actually see the superhero himself making the suit and testing it out and having those trials and tribulations and fucking up a lot of the time. Yeah. And then getting it right. I think that furthers the connection with Tony and the audience. And I think those scenes are necessary.
Now, one thing that we talk about, you and I have discussions pretty much every time we're together. DC
I would hope so. We don't just walk in the room and be like, fuck you, dude. I'm not talking to you.
No, but the comedy in the movie.
Right.
How was that for you, Mr. Stern DC guy?
Well, I don't remember being too comedic.
Really?
To be honest. No. It was just more badass than it was comedy. Tony Stark's more badass than a jokester.
Yeah.
I think, right? He doesn't just... Like, him doing that conference where he realizes that he's fucking up with his company, like he's supplying murders and all this. Mm-hmm. I thought that was more badass and funny, the fact that he tells everybody to sit down.
Yeah.
That had more of like, oh, like, this guy is like... He's fucking Tony Stark.
He basically does what he wants to do.
Yeah, he wasn't like... There was no unnecessary jokes.
I think, the scene where he's testing the boot jets and he just slams into the wall.
Or
it's funny because he takes himself so serious.
Oh, when his robot was going to spray him with the thing. Yeah. And he's like, I'm not on fire.
But think of it like this, and this is just me like looking at stuff. Maybe it's not even there, but, he's so secluded from the world and he's such a, boy genius, man genius, what you want to call him, that his robots are his closest people, other than Pepper, are the closest people to him. To the point where you almost feel like that's
his own
person. Like there's a character in that little.
They're robot. Like his Frankenstein,
right,
so to speak.
What about the ending? The big battle.
Cliched. I thought it was incredibly cliched, and it built it up because the villain Abadea. Like his motives are like real. That's real shit, right? Yeah. In the sense that it's like he's weaponizing these terrorists and he's trying to get Tony out.
Right.
And then it's like, damn, this guy's Lex Luthor. That's what I thought. He's Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor. Sorry, I'm thinking about the wrestler Lex Luger. Lex Luthor, and like Luthor does that. He has his own fucking body machine to fight Superman. But I thought it was very like thrown in. Like, I would appreciate it more if they did it differently. And I don't know how they would have done it differently. I don't want to be like, just do it differently, because I know more than you. But that's what I got out of it. Like, Iron Man, I'm just going to get a bigger suit than you and like kind of know how to use it. And I get that his fucking thing right here was the old one.
Right.
The electromagnetic.
Yeah, the arc reactor.
And he got robbed by Abadea.
Right.
Which was a great scene. I really liked that scene when he like uses that, what is it? Like that thing that paralyzes him.
Oh, the little sound paralyzer?
Right. That's fucking badass. But ultimately, I thought it was a pedestrian fight. I get that the thing when they're going up and he didn't program it to deal with the weather changes when it got cold.
Yeah.
That was cool, but like, I don't know, the fight wasn't just like,
it was generic.
God.
It was a generic
fight, and I feel like the villain deserved more than just like, let me put on a bigger suit than you and fight you. It wasn't bad, but it was just like...
Yeah, if I get puts on a suit to fight the superhero with the suit.
Right.
Yeah. So, you're going to love Iron Man 2.
Is that all the plots to them? Just some guy getting bigger suits? It's like, fuck it, come on. Oh,
no, it's not like that. It's not that simple. But yeah, I mean... so, what are the cons to the movie?
I think the third act just doesn't keep up with the first two acts, which I thought were done really well.
It's almost like they had to conclude the movie somehow.
I think like comic book movies have those problems. Wonder Woman had that problem where the third act kind of like, it's not bad, but like, what the fuck happened? The first two acts were amazing, and then you kind of sort of dropped the ball in the third one, and so ultimately is that. And the fact that every comic book movie has those, I'm just going to be bigger and kill you. Mm-hmm. Batman v Superman has that. The Incredible Hulk has that. And they have this like, we need to match you. We need to beat you and just be bigger and stronger. And sometimes you need that when it's like a character, when you're facing a specific villain. Like when you fight, if they fight Thanos or Darkseid, those characters, those are the characters. But I feel like this villain deserved more than just putting on a big suit and be like, I'm gonna try to out Iron Man.
Yeah, he basically outsmarted Iron Man. He was very intelligent throughout this whole movie, and then ended up just having a big, sock and rock and robot fight at the end of it, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, essentially that's what it was.
Winter Soldier, you'll like the Winter Soldier if that's a type of villain that you like. Cool. So I mean, I watched the movie. I enjoyed it,
and it's my favorite Marvel movie
so far.
I mean, I've seen 2.
It beat Captain America.
It beat Captain America and the Incredible
Hulk. Everybody will be thinking, hell, this video is gonna be better than the Incredible Hulk. I watched the movies. I watched all of them. I think it's fun. I haven't seen. I didn't. It's been at least 2 to 3 years since I've watched this movie. I enjoyed it. Again, I get all the ties and the nods. Like the scientist, you'll see him in another movie. The scientist talks about, hey, we met at a party, but you were too drunk. I don't know if you caught that in the conversation. He talks about that. Well, there's a movie where you see that happen. And if you're paying attention, you're like, holy crap, there he is. Okay. It's a lot of that stuff. And then,
So there's seeds here.
Yeah, there's definitely seeds. And it said, I know how you are with detail, so you'll catch them as we start watching the movies. Again, it's only the first 3 movies. We got 2 more to go before we hit the... first benchmark of the Avengers.
I really can't wait until I know Iron Man is a classic and people hold it in high regard, but this is the first time I see it in 10 years. Like a lot of things have happened in 10 years, so it doesn't have the same effect to me as it did people in 2008.
Right.
So,
and again, the whole point of this is so we get to Endgame, you'd be caught up in the impact of it. And you still haven't seen Infinity War.
No, I can't.
So
I wanted to do this series because of Infinity War, because I'm like, that looks fucking interesting.
Yeah, so we'll bunch through 10 years worth of movies.
Yeah, we gotta get through Thor. Which one's the better one? The first one?
Thor 1 is okay. Thor 1, you'll be okay.
Is it better than Incredible Hulk?
Oh, yeah, it's better than Hulk. Like I said, this video is going to be better than Incredible Hulk.
I hope so.
But the second Thor...
If not, they'll replace us with Mark Ruffalo. You said Mark Ruffalo, you're like, hey guys, I'm just going to fidget.
Alright guys, well that's our video on Iron Man. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what we think, what you think, what he should be paying attention to in the next movie. And we will see you guys next time. Deuces.
Deuces.